Daddio 2023. It's basically a stage play with two actors in a taxi cab talking to each other. So it's just lots of dialogue. So, in order for the movie to work and hold your attention, it really needs to have good dialogue and good actors who can deliver the good dialogue. And this movie has both elements. The dialogue is nothing remarkable, it's not great stuff, but it's certainly decent dialogue and it's mostly interesting. Now, because there's just so much talking, it's, I assume, about 90 minutes in length, so there is the occasional meandering moment or a lull in the conversation, so my attention did drift slightly here and there, but I would say the movie held my attention for the vast majority of the running time. There are only the two actors, Dakota Johnson, who is good, and Sean Penn, who is good. Two other actors are credited at the end, but those are very small, minor roles. Also in the end credits there's an interesting credit for a teleprompter operator, which is curious. You cannot tell, I cannot honestly say I watched the movie and thought to myself, oh, she's reading or he's reading, rather than remembering dialogue. So it's no big deal, but seeing that in the end credits does make you go, that's something that it's not great. Although I imagine learning all that dialogue would be very difficult. So I thought the movie was fine. It just doesn't add up to more than the sum of its parts. The individual parts are all good, but it doesn't become more than that. And at the end, although it has an emotional ending, I still felt when it actually ended that there isn't an actual awful lot of overall purpose to the movie. It feels slightly like an exercise in, can I write a stage play and get this turned into a movie? It doesn't feel like there's an actual story or a set of characters that needed to be realised and put out into the world. It just feels made more for the sake of it because they can, rather than because it absolutely had to be. Although there must have been something like 6 companies credited at the start, and I think there was something like 6 producers and 3 executive producers. I mean, more people behind the scenes work on this thing than are on screen, and just like producing capacities. It's quite odd why a movie of this scale needs so many people, so many companies to make it, to finance it, to put it together. It reminded me slightly of Night on Earth and a movie called Lock. So it's very similar to those two movies. So if you like this movie or you've seen those other movies, Lock and Night on Earth, then Daddio is certainly worth a watch. If you have access to the movie, there's no reason not to watch it if you're okay with stage play style movies. But I wouldn't say you must seek this out, you must pay a rental fee or whatever to see this. But if you have access to it at no extra cost, then you could do a lot worse. The movie was perfectly fine. I would even say the movie was good, but it just doesn't quite cohere into an actual especially important and worthwhile story. It doesn't quite add up to more than the sum of its good but not great parts. I would give it a slightly harsh 6 out of 10.